So this one's going to be about Gnosticism, and I think I've seen signs that this is becoming more and more common, and it's a gateway towards other, I believe, quite dangerous ideas. The first thing to clear up though is that this is quite different from being agnostic. Agnostics are people who are ambivalent about the existence of God. If you're agnostic, you say, well, I don't know for certain that a God exists, so I neither know whether God does exist or whether he doesn't exist. So this has got nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about today, which is Gnosticism. So Gnosticism is the idea that you have divine knowledge, or the belief that you have. So you have access, if you believe in Gnosticism, you have knowledge from the Creator, secret knowledge that other people don't have. And many Gnostics believe in a concept called the demiurge. So the demiurge is like an anti-God. They believe that God is evil, essentially. And this is the view that Mark Devlin's been advancing for, I don't know, about a year now. That this demiurge has created a prison for the soul of man. And we're being, tormented by this demiurge. So God isn't good, God is evil. This is the concept of the demiurge, and it's an important aspect of Gnosticism. To try to cut off some of the comments, I need to just make it clear. Obviously, I don't believe in all of this stuff, but I'm observing it, and I believe it's important to sound the alarm bell about this, because it's going to lead to some pretty bad outcomes. People will be calling for things that isn't good. So another Gnostic idea is this, you've heard it a lot about, oh, we're living in the Matrix, it's all a false reality. And the Christian God is the devil, who's imprisoned your soul in this material world, inside this matrix. Another thing that Gnostics believe is that they're supposed to transcend the matrix, to see through the matrix, to overcome the demiurge. Now, it could be argued that Gnosticism has infiltrated all three Abrahamic religions. So we're talking Islam here, we're talking Judaism, and we're talking Christianity. So if we think about Christianity and Saul, who rebranded himself as the Apostle Paul, incidentally, for most people who haven't read the Bible, once you get through the first four Gospels in the New Testament, an awful lot of the rest of the New Testament was written by the Apostle Paul, who wasn't around at the time of Jesus Christ. And his backstory was that in the early part of his life, he persecuted Christians, including being involved in the murder of Christians. And then, so the story goes, is that Paul had a conversion on the road to Damascus. A shining light appeared, and Saul became Paul and saw the light. So Paul claims divine knowledge. You could also say that the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, written by John, is also Gnostic in nature, in that John makes predictions about the future, how the future will unfold, based on, he believes he has knowledge that's been given to him by God. So I think this is very, very different from, especially the first three Gospels of the New Testament, which is basically recording the life of Jesus Christ, including what he spoke about. The book of Revelation isn't like that. It's predictive, based on Gnostic knowledge. Controversially, you could say there's not really that much difference between Paul and Joseph Smith, who the Book of Mormon, in that they both of these people claim that they received knowledge, Gnostic knowledge, direct from God. Of course, the difference, I suppose, is that they don't believe in the demiurge. They believe that God created us in his image, and God is well intentioned but is just. So it's also quite interesting that Martin Luther, the German guy who was responsible for the Reformation of the Christian Church, wanted the Book of Revelation removed from the Bible because it was predictive. Now, again, if that wasn't controversial enough, here's some more controversy. You could argue that German National Socialism, from the 1930s, is fundamentally a Gnostic religion. According to the tiny German moustache man, the Jewish God is really the demiurge. So you see this quite a lot on some Telegram accounts where they recycle this synagogue of Satan quote and misinterpret it. I'll do a separate video on what that quote from the Bible, what Jesus said actually means. But essentially, the tiny German moustache man is pushing forward this assertion that the God of the Old Testament is essentially the devil, the demiurge, and this is the God of the Jews. Now, again, I want to make this clear to the YouTube censors that I don't believe in all of this stuff, but I'm doing a video about it because I think we need to have greater understanding about these ideas and so that we can challenge them. So you can actually see where the idea for the Holocaust came from. It kind of stemmed from this National Socialist religion that the Jews worship this demiurge, the false god. The Jews represent the demiurge, so therefore what we must do is get rid of the Jews. That's where the tiny German moustache man's views came from. So the way that the tiny German moustache man saw it is that his God is not the same as the Christian God or the God of Jews. So the tiny German moustache man's God was kind of above the God of the Christians and the God of the Jews. So Hitler was a Gnostic, not a Christian. So kind of his religion is based on ethno-nationalism. So it's all about the blood, keeping the blood clean. So hence the National Socialist laws on intermarriage, keeping the Aryan blood clean, and Jews being perceived incorrectly as being Satan or followers of Satan at the very least. So we've got this kind of conflict or struggle between different ethnic groups, some of them good, some of them bad blood. So by persecuting the Jews, the National Socialists, they believed that they were also overcoming the demiurge. And unfortunately, I can see this. I'm not going to mention names because there's no need to. I don't watch those sources anyway, but it just keeps on cropping up, and I see it kind of unintentionally when I'm on Twitter. Just a number of people who count themselves as being enlightened, who buy into this Gnostic stuff. And it's extremely worrying because if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And this is what we're seeing. This is why I think that there's so much low IQ Jew hating. And it comes fundamentally from, I believe, from people embracing this kind of view of Gnosticism. So a controversial one there today, and one more time for the YouTube censors. I don't believe in Gnosticism. I don't believe that Jews are responsible for the whole evils of the world. I don't want any people being persecuted. Don't believe in any of all of that stuff. Anyway, what I do believe actually is to dramatically limit the power of the state, because history shows it's the state that carries out these insane acts of genocide. So that's all I want to say today. So God bless.